case discussed presents a scenario where an online forum is facing legal action based on content posted by its users. This has implications for the broader landscape of online forum management and content moderation. The central concern is whether online platforms can be held responsible for the actions and statements of their users. The outcome of this case could establish a precedent, meaning that future similar cases might be decided in a similar manner based on the principles established in this initial ruling. Such a precedent could significantly alter how online forums operate. Currently, many forums function as relatively open platforms where users can share information, express opinions, and engage in discussions with limited oversight. If forums are held liable for user content, this could lead to increased scrutiny and stricter content moderation policies. Forums might become more cautious about what they allow on their sites, implementing more stringent rules and employing more staff or automated systems to monitor user activity. This shift could have both positive and negative consequences. On one hand, it could reduce the spread of harmful or illegal content, such as hate speech, defamation, or copyright infringement. On the other hand, it could also lead to censorship and a chilling effect on free speech, where users are hesitant to express controversial or unpopular opinions for fear of triggering legal action against the forum. Another potential consequence is the impact on the availability of information and support. Many users rely on online forums to find answers to questions, seek advice, and connect with others who share similar interests or experiences. If forums become more restrictive in their content policies, it could become more difficult for users to find the information and support they need. Furthermore, the cost of defending against lawsuits and implementing more robust content moderation systems could be prohibitive for smaller forums, potentially leading to their closure or consolidation into larger platforms. This could reduce the diversity of online forums and limit the choices available to users. It is important to consider the legal principles involved in this type of case. Generally, under current laws, online platforms are often protected from liability for user-generated content by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. This provision provides immunity to website operators and users from liability for information originating from third parties. However, this protection is not absolute, and there are exceptions for certain types of content, such as intellectual property violations and criminal activity. The specific details of the case are crucial in determining whether the forum can be held liable. For example, if the forum was actively involved in creating or promoting the content, or if it failed to take action after being notified of its illegality, it may be more likely to be found liable. It is also important to note that the legal landscape surrounding online content liability is constantly evolving. As technology advances and online activity becomes more prevalent, lawmakers and courts are grappling with how to balance the need to protect free speech with the need to prevent harm and hold individuals and organizations accountable for their actions. This case could contribute to this ongoing debate and shape the future of online content regulation. In addition to the legal and practical implications, there are also ethical considerations to take into account. Online forums play an important role in facilitating communication, knowledge sharing, and community building. However, they also have the potential to be used for harmful purposes, such as spreading misinformation, inciting violence, and engaging in harassment. Forum operators have a responsibility to create a safe and inclusive environment for their users, while also respecting their right to free speech. Finding the right balance between these competing values is a complex challenge that requires careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. It is also worth noting that the impact of this case could extend beyond online forums to other types of online platforms, such as social media sites, blogs, and review websites. Any ruling that holds online platforms liable for user content could have a ripple effect throughout the internet, affecting the way that all types of online content are created, shared, and consumed. Therefore, it is important for anyone who participates in online communities or relies on online information to pay attention to this case and its potential implications. The outcome of this case could have a significant impact on the future of the internet and the way that we interact with each other online. It is crucial to consider the potential consequences of holding online forums liable for user-generated content. This includes the potential for decreased free speech, reduced access to information, and increased costs for forum operators. It is also important to consider the potential benefits such as reduced harm and increased accountability. Ultimately, the goal should be to create a legal framework that promotes a vibrant and healthy online environment while also protecting the rights of individuals and communities. The legal proceedings, evidence presented, and arguments made by both sides will determine the outcome of the case. The court's decision will likely be based on existing laws and legal precedents, but it could also break new ground and establish new legal principles. Regardless of the outcome, this case serves as a reminder of the importance of responsible online behavior and the need for ongoing dialogue about the role of online platforms in society. It also highlights the challenges of balancing free speech with the need to prevent harm and hold individuals and organizations accountable for their actions. The long-term effects of this case are uncertain, but it is clear that it has the potential to significantly impact the way that online forums operate. The case's progress should be monitored closely by those who use, operate, or are affected by online forums. Any change in moderation is a complex issue with significant legal, social, and economic implications. The specific facts of the case, including the nature of the content in question, the forum's policies and practices, and the applicable laws and regulations, will all play a role in the court's decision. In addition to the legal aspects, it is also important to consider the ethical implications of holding online forums liable for user-generated content. Online forums can be valuable platforms for free speech and open discussion. However, they can also be used to spread hate speech, misinformation, and other harmful content. Forum operators have a responsibility to balance the need to protect free speech with the need to prevent harm. This is a difficult task, and there is no easy answer. Ultimately, the decision of whether to hold online forums liable for user-generated content will have to be made on a case-by-case basis, taking into account all of the relevant factors. The ruling in this case could encourage the development of new technologies and strategies for detecting and removing harmful content from online forums. It could also lead to increased investment in content moderation and user education. However, it could also lead to increased censorship and a chilling effect on free speech. It is important to strike a balance between these competing interests. The outcome of this case could have a significant impact on the future of the Internet. It is important for policymakers, legal scholars, and members of the public to engage in a thoughtful discussion about the issues involved. This discussion should take into account the potential benefits and risks of holding online forums liable for user-generated content. It should also consider the potential impact on free speech, access to information, and innovation.